We've got even more changes and updates in Rust, waiting for us in the August monthly update. Even though the work is still in process, we already have a new DLC, some really cool changes to the Crashing Satellite event, Power Grid system and Power Plant Monument, new red recyclers, completely new recycling mechanics, some quality of life changes, and a lot of other interesting stuff. The developers keep surprising us with a whole bunch of updates and new features. But this time, you won't like all of them. Before we dive deeper into these updates, only 10% of you are subscribed. Jerry's and Lentilman's. That needs to be fixed. Just click 2 buttons below. It's completely free. And don't forget to like this video. And let's begin with the new recyclers and new recycling system. First of all, now we have a new overpowered red recycler on the power plant. But if you open it, you will see that this recycler is offline, while the default recycler next to it is totally normal. This is where we have the first problem. Now all the green recyclers on the map have 50% efficiency, instead of 60% as it was before. But we can easily change it by using a new power level system. From now on, we have 4 power levels on the power plant, and you can check the current level by the number of lit lights. To enable the first power level, you need to put just one heavy fuse in the fuse box, and it will activate the power grid system, so all the poles, fridges and other stuff around the map will have electricity. To enable the second power level, you need to put 4 heavy fuses in the fuse box. This will increase the efficiency of all the recyclers across the map from 50% to the default 60%, as it always has been. On the third power level, nothing much will happen, but there will be a bit more power at the poles. And to enable the highest power level, you need to put 18 heavy fuses in the fuse box. Once you do that, you'll be able to use this red recycler on the power plant. This bad boy will give you 75% efficiency instead of 60% and 4 seconds recycling speed instead of 5 seconds in the default recycler. Also, when someone activates the highest power level, all the recyclers on the map will have a recycling speed of 4.5 seconds instead of the default 5 seconds. It's really cool that the developers took my idea from my last video, and it's all thanks to you and your insane support. But unfortunately, they removed 2 VIP recyclers from the safe zone. So now you can only use these old yellow recyclers with 40% efficiency. On the one hand, I don't really like this change, because power plant will become the most contested and difficult monument in the game, with tons of campers and clans. But on the other hand, it will slow down the progression in the first few hours after the wipe, because all the recyclers will have less efficiency. Plus, the developers have said that we'll be able to find heavy fuses in default yellow and military grades, beyond the elite grades. This will significantly increase the chances for all players to activate the power plant monument, because all you need to keep it running is only 4 heavy fuses and a green keycard to get inside the main building, which isn't that much of a hassle. So I'm pretty sure the power plant will work all the time. However, I still think it was a mistake to remove these 2 VIP recyclers from the safe zone. I think they should bring it back and make them blue, and also make them offline if the power plant isn't running or running on the low power stage. These recyclers will turn active only when someone enables the highest power stage on the power plant, and will give you a default 60% efficiency instead of 40%. In my opinion, that would be cool. Next, let's take a look at all the changes to the Crashing Satellite event. If you haven't seen my last video, I highly recommend watching it, so you can better understand what new features and events will be added to Rust. First of all, now you won't be able to call a satellite event if the power plant is offline. Second, to activate a satellite event, you need between 6 and 12 tech trash, instead of 10 as it was before. Third, the drop point is now more random, and you need to wait 10 minutes for it to crash, instead of 5 minutes as it was before. And lastly, it has a new animation, which in my opinion looks way better, but I'm pretty sure they will change this event a few more times before the official release. So if you want to keep up with all the latest Rust news and updates, I made a dedicated Discord server, so be sure to join it. I leave the link in the description below. Next, let's move to the Dome Monument and the new oil puzzle. The developers added a second switch to the small oil rig, but it won't generate as much crude oil. Also, now each pump on the dome should produce around 1600 crude oil in 10 minutes, so it's over 4000 fuel in total. However, if you enable the switch on the small oil rig, you will get only half of the oil. If you enable the switch on the large oil rig, you will get the default output of the oil. And if you enable both of the switches, you will get 1.5 times as much oil. I'm sure clients will love it, but as a solo player, I don't care, because I won't have a chance to get this oil. I'm just worried about one thing. The only way to extract this oil is to use a tank module on your car, but to blow it up, you only need 2 high-velocity rockets, or 400 sulfur. So basically, you could lose all your oil to any random player who got free rockets and rocket launcher from the deep sea NPC. I don't think that's right. In my opinion, they should add a new heavy tank module with more HP, so it can withstand at least 8 high-velocity rockets, or make a whole new module designed specifically for fuel transfer. Next, we have a power grid change. Now, you don't need a ladder to climb on these poles, because they use the same mechanic as trees in the jungle biome. However, this leads to another problem. If you build a base too close to the road, any player will be able to use this pole to jump on your roof, so you should be careful where you build your base. Next, let's move to the water treatment. Now we have one more valve on this monument, which enables water at random water producers around the map. You can find one on top of this huge barrel and another next to this metal shack on the other side of the water treatment. At the moment, each valve generates about 15,000 water units. Also, one of the tanks in the middle of this monument now has water inside it, which looks pretty cool. The next change will make a lot of players really angry. Wolf Mask is now going to be a tier 1 item, meaning you need a first workbench to craft it. To be honest, I don't know why the developers decided to do this, but in my opinion, it's not right. Also, they added a wolf mask and a small backpack to the Rust workshop, so we'll soon see a bunch of cool skins for these items. Next, let's take a look at the new Game Room DLC. To balance out all the available DLCs in the game, the developers went for a cosmetic DLC this time, because the last Industrial DLC was way too overpowered and had a lot of pay-to-win features. This time, all we have is a new skin for the mini fridge, which looks really cool, because you can see what's inside it. New skin for a chair with a new animation, new jukebox with LCD display and radio feature, new and first skin for the gun trap, new wallpapers, new carpets, and most importantly, new games such as pool, darts, and tic-tac-toe. In my opinion, the only reason you should buy this DLC is the jukebox radio, because you can play the Fishing Village soundtrack 24/7 inside your base. It's kinda an anti-stress melody. Also, they made a pretty cool leaning animation with a new chair. Next, let's take a look at these games. To play pool, you need to come to the table and press E. Once you do that, you go into this view. You can move left and right by pressing A and D, you can adjust the power by holding the left mouse button and moving the mouse back, and when you move the mouse forward and let go of the left mouse button, you make the hit. I know, it sounds complicated, but in reality, it's pretty easy and intuitive. To play darts, you just need to come to the wall and select the type of the game you want. You can either play alone or with a friend. Next, you come to this thing on the floor and press E to play. Hold Shift to hold your breath, use WASD to move the side, and left click to throw. On the right side, you can see the score, and below it, you can see the game timer. And the last and coolest game in this DLC is Tic-Tac-Toe. To play it, you just need to craft a spray can, paint a grid on the wall, and then you can paint a circle or a cross in the square you want. I don't know if it's possible to play this game with a friend who doesn't have this DLC, but either way, it looks really unique. Also, they added a new item to Rust, a rock sculpture. It looks exactly the same as a nice sculpture, but you don't need a tool to use it. At first, I thought it would be a game changer for shooting floors and one-way peaks, because you can make a hole in the middle of the sculpture. But it's kinda useless, because it breaks after a few shots, so the only way to use it is to decorate your base. Next, we have a few quality of life changes. First of all, now you can add a specific sleeping bag to your favorites to keep it at the front of the list. And second, if you hold down the E button to open the sleeping bag menu, you can show the sleeping bag on the compass, but it only works with one sleeping bag. And last but not least, the best change of all. Now you can jump off the swing in the apartment complex and smash yourself to bits. To hell with optimization. To hell with performance improvements. Now we can jump off the swing. That's all we need. That was all the changes at the moment. If you have any ideas on how to make this update even better, please write your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe Facepunch will use them before the official release. Also, if you want to support my channel, you can join the membership and become a real chat. So if you have the opportunity, I'd appreciate your support. And if you want to learn even more about Rust, then this is the updated, ultimate guide to all monuments in Rust, from Tier 1 all the way up to Tier 3.